You've spent thousands of dollars squeezing every last horse out of that big block. You've polished the chrome, dialed in the suspension, and perfected that classic American stance. Let me ask you a brutal question. When was the last time you actually looked at the only 4 pieces of rubber keeping that heavy American iron on the blacktop? At 60, 70, or 80 miles per hour, your vintage muscle car doesn't have the modern electronic safety nets of a modern plastic commuter box. No traction control, no advanced stability systems. Just you, your steering wheel, and your tires. And if those tires fail, you aren't just looking at an expensive tow bill. You're looking at wrapped sheet metal and a ruined piece of American history. Before we pull the dipstick on today's deep dive, do yourself a huge favor. Tap that subscribe button right now and hit the notification bell. We drop weekly, no-nonsense guides built for guys who actually care about keeping their classic rides safe, fast, and on the road. Don't miss out. Join the garage community today. Now, let's talk about the 5 critical signs your tires are getting ready to give up the ghost before it's too late. Here is the biggest trap classic car guys fall into every single year: the low mileage illusion. You look at your tires and you think, hey, the tread looks deep enough to handle a heavy launch. I've only put 3,000 miles on these boots over the last 5 years. They're practically brand new. Wrong. In the world of classic cars and weekend cruisers, tread depth is almost completely irrelevant. Your biggest enemy isn't the road, it's time. This is what we call dry rot, or weather checking. Tires are packed with specialized oils and anti-aging chemicals that keep the rubber compound flexible. But here's the catch. Those chemicals only work when the tire is actually rolling and flexing, which heats up the rubber and pushes those protective oils to the surface. When your muscle car sits in a garage for weeks or months at a time, the rubber dries out. It bakes in the ambient air, suffocates, and begins to crack. Take a look down at your sidewall and locate the DOT code. Look at the very last 4 digits. If it reads 1216, that means those tires were stamped in the 12th week of 2016. In the classic car community, if your tires are past the 6-year mark, the clock is ticking. If they hit 10 years, they aren't tires anymore. They are brittle, unsafe hockey pucks. Do not trust a 400 horsepower engine to a tire that's old enough to be in middle school. Sign number 2 is something every guy with a heavy Detroit steel ride has felt at least once: the dreaded flat spotting. When you leave a heavy car, say a 4,000-pound Pontiac GTO or a big block Dodge Charger, sitting on a cold garage floor all winter long, the weight of that vehicle presses down continuously on the exact same patch of rubber. Over months of cold storage, the tire literally forgets its round shape. It develops a flat spot right where the rubber meets the concrete. Now, when you finally fire up that V8 in the spring and take it out on the highway, you'll immediately notice a rhythmic thumping vibration through your seat or your steering wheel. Now, if you're lucky and you're running high-quality modern radial tires, that flat spot might disappear after 20 or 30 miles once the tires get some heat in them and round out. But if you're running older radials or classic reproduction bias ply tires for that perfect factory-correct look, that flat spot can become permanent. The internal nylon or steel belts take a set, meaning they are permanently warped. If you've driven 50 miles and your ride still feels like you're rolling on square wheels, your internal carcass is shot. That tire is structurally compromised, and throwing more wheel weights at it for a rebalance isn't going to fix a warped internal belt. Let's talk about sign number 3, and this one is an absolute deal breaker. It's what old-timers call a sidewall egg, bubble, or blister. Muscle car tires take a lot of abuse, especially if you love that classic fat tire look with a tall sidewall. But if you walk around your car during a weekend wash and notice a small raised bubble sticking out from the side of the rubber, that tire is officially dead. Here's what's actually happening under the hood of that rubber. A tire isn't just molded rubber. It's an intricate web of internal fabric plies and steel cords. When you hit a nasty pothole, a sharp railroad crossing, or catch a curb while parking, the tire gets gripped hard against the metal rim. The outer rubber might look fine, but the internal structural plies snap. Now, the internal air pressure of 30 or 35 psi is pushing directly against nothing but a thin, flexible outer skin of rubber. It is a structural ticking time bomb. The moment you punch the throttle, do a burnout, or hit a seam on the interstate, that bubble will pop. It's an immediate, unrecoverable blowout. Sign number 4 comes down to a classic piece of advice that just doesn't hold water when you're driving high-horsepower American classics. It's the standard Lincoln penny test. Every generic auto care channel tells you to stick a penny upside down in the tread, and if you can see Lincoln's head, you're at 2/32 of an inch, meaning it's time for new rubber. Let's be completely honest. If you are running a high-torque V8 with rear-wheel drive and you wait until your tires are down to 2/32 of an inch, you are playing Russian roulette with your car. At 2/32 of an inch, a tire is legally bald. But for a heavy, high-horsepower classic without modern ABS brakes or electronic stability control, that tire loses its ability to channel away water long before that. If you get caught in a sudden summer downpour on the way home from a car show, tires with low tread will hydroplane instantly. Throw the penny away and grab a Washington quarter. Insert it head first into the groove. If the tread doesn't cover the top of Washington's head, you're under 4/32 of an inch. For a classic car, that is your hard finish line. At that depth, your wet weather braking distance doubles, and your rear end will try to pass your front end the moment the road gets slick. Protect your investment. Don't skimp on tread. Our 5th and final sign is something drivers often blame on old steering boxes or classic suspension design, but it's frequently a tire issue. Unexplained steering wheel wandering or tramlining. If you're cruising down a straight piece of highway and your car feels like it's constantly searching for a groove, pulling left and right, or making you work like a captain in a storm just to stay in your lane, stop blaming your steering linkage for a minute and inspect your front tread. This behavior often points directly to a tire defect known as tread squirm or uneven cupping. When your front end alignment is even slightly out of spec, or if the internal belts of the tire begin to shift due to age and stress, the tire will no longer track true. It will literally try to follow every microscopic groove, crack, and seam in the asphalt. If your alignment checks out straight at the local shop, but your car still feels nervous and unsteady at high speeds, those front casings are telling you their internal structure is fatigued. Replace them before they turn a relaxing Sunday cruise into a stressful wrestling match. Look, keeping a classic American muscle car on the road is a labor of love. We check the oil, we tune the carburetors, and we polish the paint. But never forget that all that power, history, and beauty relies on just a few inches of rubber meeting the road. Take 5 minutes this weekend. Walk around your car, check the date codes, and inspect those sidewalls. If you looked at your tires and realized it is finally time to swap out your old boots for a fresh set of rubber, you need to make sure you don't buy junk. Click on the video right here on your screen, where we break down the 3 tire brands you should never buy, along with the absolute #1 best tire brand on the market for 2026. Keep the shiny side up, drive safe, and I'll see you in the next garage session, right over there.